What's up, guys? Brian here. So today we're going to talk about developing a coaching style. So you're out there, you decided you're going to take on clients, you're going to start training them. You want to use this time to hone your skills and develop your own style. The thing is that you are the product, okay? So you're out there selling yourself. If you don't have a style that people can see as different than the others, you're going to kind of get lost in the shuffle. So we want to use this time to really develop our style as a coach. We want to find out where our strengths are as a coach and then where our weaknesses are and work on those things. So I came up with basically four basic elements to a style that I think hold true with my experience with working with other coaches, things that I've seen online with online coaches, and then also helping other coaches develop their style. So we'll just break these down. They're very simple, but maybe you see something that you're lacking and that you need to work on. So the first thing is the scientist or theorist. Okay, so the scientist or theorist is very well educated. They have read up on every type of training method. They're very well versed in all the different styles of training out there. They've also, they may be very deep into nutrition, mobility, whatever it may be. But they have done a lot of research, and they still continue to do a lot of research, seeing what the trends are, what's kind of fallen to the wayside. There is nothing wrong with being a scientist or theorist. In fact, in the very beginning, I encourage you to go to as many seminars as you can go to, read as much as you can, always question it. Don't just take everything in for what it is. But you must be reading at all times, constantly educating yourself. The only issue with that is we don't want to get stuck in this quadrant because we're dealing with, most of the time when you're training people, you're dealing with the Joe public, if you will. So you need to be able to break things down in layman terms, and if you're constantly reading all these articles that, yes, in your world, you understand everything, it is sometimes hard to transfer that over to the client that you're training. So, definitely do all the research you can, continue to educate yourself all throughout your career, but don't get stuck in this area here, because it's not going to help you when you're trying to coach others out there, all right? So the next one that I see a lot is the drill sergeant or boot camp coach. And in the beginning, I was stuck in this quadrant here, all right? So I'm not afraid to say that. When I first started coaching, this is what my style was. And what that means is that basically you're a hard ass, okay? So people come in and they want to train with you, and you are pushing them to their limits, okay? Not to the point where you're going to injure them, but you're pushing them, and you're testing their boundaries. You may be yelling at them. You may be telling them that they can give you more than what they think they can give. It's a very hardcore style of coaching, and I've kind of softened up since my early days, but I was stuck over in this area here. This is an area where, yes, you want to motivate people and you want to hold their attention and push them beyond what they think they can do. But at the same time, we don't want to constantly just be berating people, yelling at them, especially as you get into other disciplines of training, like when you're dealing with somebody that's maybe coming back from an injury. Last thing you want to be is this style of coach here. So don't get stuck in this area here, all right? And then next is the cheerleader or the motivator. All right, so the cheerleader motivator, I see a lot of this, especially in group training with coaches. I see a ton of this. And what this is a coach basically walking around going, great job, you're doing great, yelling, basically cheering the people on instead of actually training them. Now, don't get me wrong, you want to motivate and you want to give them praise when they're doing stuff that's right, but constantly telling people great job and not correcting their form maybe, it's not helping them in the long run, okay? So do not get stuck in this area over here. In fact, if it was me, I'm only going to use a little bit of this here, okay, the cheerleader. It gets a little old after a while when you hear somebody walking around basically saying, you're doing a great job, and you know in your head you're not. Training is very difficult, and the last thing you need is to be basically lied to that you're doing something right when you know in your head you're not. So definitely use an element of this, but we do not want to be over in this area here at all. In the long run, it really doesn't help anybody out. And then the last one is the quiet and reserved coach. Okay, so as I've gotten a little more mature in my coaching and way more experience in my coaching, I have gone more over to this side. And what that means, less is more. Okay, so let's say I'm coaching a group of 5 and they're doing a workout that has a certain type of movement in it. Let's just say they're doing power cleans. And I know that one of my clients, they have issues with a certain element of the power clean. But I noticed that they're really working on that during this session. Instead of yelling across the room and saying, you're doing a great job, blah, 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 I'm going to just walk over, stand next to them, watch what they're doing. They know I'm watching them. And then very quietly just say, you know what, that looks great, but let's work on this. So it's a more of a relaxed version of coaching, but it helps out in the long run only because people respond to that. They don't want to constantly be yelled at all the time and all that. So this is the quiet and reserved coach. So if you look at the 4 of these, what I can say to help you develop your style is 1, try to become balanced in all of these. Okay, so try to incorporate all of this in your coaching style, but figure out what you're strong in. Figure out what your strength is and kind of put that off to the side, and then figure out what the weakness is and start working on that and develop your style. You want it to be your own. You want people to say, oh, when I train with him or her, I love their style of coaching. Okay, that's basically what it comes down to. So again, to review the 4 quadrants: scientist or theorist, the cheerleader or motivator, which we don't really want to be too much in this area here. The drill sergeant or boot camp coach. This can be very effective, but don't make that your whole style. And then the quiet and reserved coach, which I find works very well when mixed with all of this. All right? Hope this helps you out. If you like these videos, please subscribe down below. If you have any questions that you need answered, you're starting out and you need some help with building your gym, just shoot me an email at Thomason, THOMASON, Brian, BRIAN, @gmail.com. All right, take it easy, guys.